crafty friends. This is the Paper Chef here. Welcome to part 5 of my Playing in the Rain workshop series. In this series, we focus on this stamp set, the matching dies, which are also called Playing in the Rain. We use the Rain or Shine Designer Series paper, and we create all kinds of stuff using this really fun suite. The suite is called Rain or Shine, and it's by Stampin' Up. It's in our mini catalog. And I'm just going to go ahead and use some products from it and show you some techniques today. The 2 techniques I'm going to be showing you are, we're going to start with the embossing one. It's called Emboss Resist. So in other words, resist. Okay, let's talk about what that means. Resist means that your paper is going to resist the ink. I'll say that a couple more times so you understand what's going on. But it's the opposite effect of what's going on here. This paper is absorbing the ink. I'm using the same raindrops. Here are the raindrops. And since I just used Versamark recently, I'm going to keep on using these raindrops. This is when you just use raindrops straight onto the paper and the paper absorbs the raindrops. But in this case, I'm using clear embossing powder. And the paper does not absorb the ink in the spots where I embossed. It resists the ink. And it absorbs the ink on the opposite areas. That's what Emboss Resist is. So it's a really fun technique, and I thought, why not use this technique with the rain? And then after that, we'll be doing a masking technique where we'll mask out this little guy. See, that's not a die. It's not 3-dimensional. That's a flat image right onto the paper. So it's just another fun technique. And there's many ways to use your masking paper. I just thought it'd be fun to change it up because we've already done a couple projects with turtles. We've already done a couple projects with bunnies. We've already done something with the fox. And now let's just, kind of change it up. All right, so we're going to focus on this technique first. So we're going to you need for this your heat embossing tool, Versamark ink, and some pieces of basic white. Let's go ahead and cut all the basic white we need for this whole project. In other words, we'll just cut, because you're going to use the same size basic white for both projects, whether we do the Emboss Resist or the other technique of masking. And the reason I made the paper so small is because it really makes the character stand out. And it also gives us a chance to really highlight that really pretty paper in the background by giving it a nice large margin around the outsides. So just take a few pieces of basic white. You probably can cut 2 at once. I wouldn't go for 3, with our Stampin' trimmer. But 2 at once should be fine. Seeing what side of this. Really doesn't matter. So we're just going to make these 3 inches wide. I already had them big, so now I'm just making them smaller. Okay, 3 inches by 4 1/4. Okay, and then I always before I go into my mass production mode, I always double check, is that the size they were for my card? Just making sure. Yes, okay. So we're gonna go ahead and we'll do one more, 3 by 4 1/4. I see you all coming in and saying hello. That's awesome. Keep on chatting. We're gonna have some fun. So we'll go ahead and I'm just doing a few of them so we can have extras. So now we're going to let's just go ahead and we're going to write that down because some people, you get stuck on the whole measurement thing and you can't move on in your mind until you get the measurement. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that for you. I like to draw out the little shape, right? So we're going to this is going to be basic white. Basic white cardstock. I'm not using the thick basic white because that'd be a waste of basic white, of the thick basic white. You use that for when you're making card bases. So we have 4 1/4 by 3 inches. You want to use the thin basic white for both of these projects. So now what you're going to do, it's going to be hard to kind of see this. I have a ring light, but it's still going to be kind of hard to see because this is invisible ink. It's Versamark ink. It's invisible. So we're going to tap, tap, tap. We're going to stamp our raindrops all over this paper. They may overlap, they may not. Just kind of alternate them a bit so they're in different spots. And I'll kind of hang it toward the light a little bit so you can see it. Hold it toward the light. All right, so you see it? That's what I did. I put some raindrops on it. Now, really quickly, put the lid on your Versamark. Grab your embossing powder really quickly before this dries. Very important. And I could have used the embossing buddy on this paper, but I think it was overkill. We didn't need to. Just dump some on there. Be generous, guys. Generous. And if you want to get, little spoons, I like to, when I'm at like Baskin Robbins or somewhere, when you're trying out the ice cream, then you keep the little spoon. Okay, so what you're going to do is just tap it off, like flick it off. Now, in your Embossing Additions toolkit, there is a little brush. So at this point, we can brush off the excess. If there is any, I don't really see any, so it's good. That could use a raindrop on that side, but I'm thinking it's all good. Maybe that, or no, that was just a little dot on the paper. So you see what's happening there? That's all we have, is we have, just a bunch of rain and the powder. So now move this very far away. Oh, by the way, that tray, awesome sauce if you don't have this. So this tray, you open up this, and you can dump your embossing powder back into your little jars through this little hole. But I'm just using that little other container, but you see what I'm saying? It's pretty cool. And you can brush it back into your tray. All right, so now we're going to heat that. So you get your nice little tweezers. These are really heavy-duty tweezers, the reverse tweezers, that are also part of the Embossing Additions toolkit. And now you're going to turn on your embossing heat tool, and I'm just going to turn on to the high level, number 2. Now we're melting the embossing powder. Watch it transform. I like to use circular motions, and you're just going to see this like sort of glossy effect. It's like the UV coating on your paper, on your rain or shine paper. See that? See how it's getting glossy? Ooh la la. All right, so I'm just going to keep on heating it up. You need to melt all that powder. We'll get the other side. All right, I'm very happy with this. And this is what yours should look like when you're done. And I understand you're not going to be doing this probably right now while you're watching my video, but you could see. Let me turn up my light. Okay, so you can really see that. Pretty cool, right? Now let's do the next. Let's kind of go on and move on to the step 2. I mean, not step 2, card 2. A little bit of powder there. So let me see what I could grab here. I'm just going to get a semi-dry baby wipe. A baby wipe, a little bit of... I just need to get that, I need to get that powder up, but I don't want to like use a totally wet cloth. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want to stamp Mr. Fox for the next part. The Playing in the Rain Fox, right? So let's see. I'm going to take this one, and we're going to take our Memento black ink. The reason we're doing this is so that this one has a chance to dry real well. So I'm mixing 2 tutorials in one. Right now, like, we're not finished this one on the left yet. We're just going on to the next part. So we're putting Mr. Fox. I think Mr. Fox needs a bigger stamping block. You probably could have got away with a stamping block D, but since I have bigger stamping blocks, I may as well use the bigger stamping block. All right, so and we're not doing anything to this one right now. That's on hold for a second. We are stamping Mr. Fox. Okay, let's just, sometimes I like to stamp down onto my paper first. Ooh la la, I got a good stamped image. And then I go back and do it. All right, so let's see how far down I put them. Kind of down toward the bottom. Just like to repeat what I did earlier. All right, cool. Oh, love it. All right, that's good. We'll do another one of those because when you do use masking paper, which we're using in a little bit, masking paper, my first time I used the masking paper today, I forgot to do the little lint trick and put some lint on my, put some lint on my clothes onto the masking paper, and it ripped my basic white. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp 2 of these. So I have 2 of these. All right, so that's good. And that's still the same measurement. We haven't done anything different. That was, just to review, in case just so you're tracking with what's going on. In the first technique I'm teaching you, we just stamped the raindrops in Versamark ink, okay? In this one, later, we're going to be coloring these with the Stampin' blends, and we're going to be doing something called masking, and I need those to be dry, really dry. And so those we used this kind of ink, Memento black ink, okay? So it's like a 2 tutorial in 1. It's like a bonus tutorial. You get 2 tutorials today. Also, I want you to, while you're doing, while we're waiting for the next part, you need to dry off your raindrops. Not dry off, clean off. Because, like, we're going to use a different kind of ink. So we need to clean off the Versamark. Sometimes you can just sort of do that. Like you've seen me when I don't have a lot of cleaning things near me. I just wipe it on my hand. But, you have to wipe off the Versamark because you're going to use a different color later for that. So let's get everything away and clear the deck. And now we're going to work on this part. So here we have these raindrops. And I want to take Balmy Blue and Gray Granite and color this beautiful rain scene, but we're going to color it in Balmy Blue and Gray Granite and blending brushes. We'll start with the lighter color, Balmy Blue. And then you're going to see that the ink is going to resist. It's not going to stick onto the part where we did the embossing. It's only going to stick onto the part where we didn't emboss. So let's move the Gray Granite away for a moment. Put that over there. And I always like to put my ink on my stamping block so I can control. And plus, there's really not that much ink in here. I still have not located my re-inkers. I'm not going to buy new ones. I refuse to buy new ones. I have them somewhere. They will resurface. Okay, so I'm just tapping off the blob, and I'm going to go kind of through the middle here with the Balmy Blue. And the magic just happens gradually. It doesn't happen like quickly. This is one of those like, ooh, right? I tap the big blob off, and then I do the circle. So I want the whole bottom of this to be Balmy Blue with the lightest part at the bottom, not too dark at the bottom, and then, working its way up. And if you get a little blob on something, that's why I had those little flowers. I happen to have some flowers out for the bingo, but you have other embellishments in your Playing in the Rain kit. And so you could just kind of use whatever embellishments you have to kind of cover up any blobs of ink. And that's what your sentiment is for. All right, so you can already see what's going on here. I'll hold it up to the light, but it's even better with the Gray Granite. So the ink has resisted the part where we embossed, and it is attached to the background of the white. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm going to add some blue to the top, like almost all the way to the top, and then we'll do Gray Granite on the very top. We'll mix it. And you can use Smoky Slate. Any kind of, you could use Basic Gray, but Basic Gray is going to be too dark unless you really want a depressing scene, right? Basic Gray. So I would say Gray Granite is kind of your lightest gray that you have. It's fine. I'm going to use this Stampin' block. We're going to open the Gray Granite. Move that one away. Okay, this one's a lot inkier, see? A lot more ink on that one. Okay, blending brush. Tap, tap, tap. Now this one's a lot darker, so you have to watch that blob. You don't want that blob to end up right on your paper. So you kind of be careful. You kind of just get in there with the circular motions and just do that. And if it does get a big blob on there, so be it. You can make some little clouds and cover up things, cover up with embellishments. So now I'm blending the Gray Granite. I want the top to be Gray Granite and the middle to be a combination of Balmy Blue and Gray Granite, because Balmy Blue is a coordinating color. And that's how I'm doing this one. But you do whatever you want because it's your card. You can use whatever colors you have. So Basic Gray, Gray Granite, Smoky Slate. Those are the 3 I'd recommend. If you really don't have anything gray, just take your black and really get it, to be lightened up, and then you can dilute it. So that is how you do the embossed resist technique. So now we're going to find a cute little background color and finish the card off. I used Cajun Craze. Oh, here, let's hold it up. Ooh la la, right? And then, like, if you had any ink left on there, you could wipe off the ink off of the white part, but it didn't stick. It resisted it, so you don't even have to worry about that at all. So let's find. I've opened so many packs of this now. I think I'm on my like 5th pack of this. All right, so let's see. You'll see because I also made some bingo. So what one did I use? This one. We're gonna use this little cute paper. And we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for the regular size. We're gonna go for the 4" by 5 1/4. When I say regular size, that's like the size you make the mats for most of your cards, right? 5 by 4 1/4. I'm sorry, 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so I hope I said it right. Let's see. Did I say it right? Did I do it right? Let's check. Let's check the other card. Yes, I did it right. I just said it wrong, but I did it right. Okay, so there you go. Take your adhesive. I love that I have my island in my she shed now. If you didn't check out that video, that I have a new island. My brother built me an island, and my husband finished the top of it. So I have like all my stuff really handy now. I don't have to put everything in so many baskets. It's all kind of at my fingertips. So I'm going to put that on top of there. And you see why I made that big wide margin? So we still have the proportion. This rectangle's in proportion to the outside rectangle, to the outside layer, but it's not. Oh boy, I should have die cut out that guy, right? I should have scanned and cut him. Look at the little piggy. What a waste of a cute little piggy. No, just kidding. It's only paper. Get some more paper. Or cut out the whole, like cut out the things that you want to cut out before you use it on the card. So that you could technically like cut out some things and still you have your layers if you center things right. All right, so now what I'm going to find is the Cajun Craze. All right, so what we want to do, let's see how much of this I have. Ooh, my last 2 sheets. All right, we're going to take. I have drawers now to put my Simply Scored in. All right, so you're going to take your Simply Scored, or you could use your trimmer. I mean, either way, right? Take out your paper, and we're going to make 2 cards from 1 piece of cardstock. Lay it horizontally. This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Score it at 5.5. Okay, I just used a little scoring tool that's part of this Simply Scored. Next, cut it to be 4 1/4 because it was an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. 4 1/4. Now we have 2 cards in one. Cajun Craze. Why Cajun Craze? Because it's a coordinating color of our suite here called the Rain or Shine Suite. And it's in your kit. And I don't think we've used the color yet. That's why I'm using it today. It was part of your kit. And I wanted to make sure we use a lot of the main cardstock I gave you. I just like to use the corner of my little trays or my Simply Scored or my trimmer. Any kind of corner to flatten out my cards. And then we're going to take this and we're going to adhere that. And that color really makes it pop. So if you have this white piece of paper with the cute little raindrops that are Daffodil Delight, Mango Melody, and Flirty Flamingo, and that white part, then put it on a dark pop background and really make it pop. All right, so there you go. So that's how to do that card. And then we'll get to the critters in a little bit. Let's see what we're going to put in. So while we're there, we just do this card too. So this card, okay, that was this card, and we need a critter. And make sure your raindrops are facing the right way, all down. And this one we need a critter. And for this critter, or for this card, we had the Flirty Flamingo background with the little stripes on it. So let's look at it's this piece here. And it goes vertically. So you want not vertically, the stripes are horizontal. 4 by 5 1/4. So we'll write that down and we'll do 2 cards at once. We'll add this to the Cajun Craze and we'll have those 2. We'll have that. Let's make sure it opens on the bottom. Hold on. Oops. See, I could have mounted it upside down. Well, it doesn't really matter this way until we mount the little critter. But that's that piece of Flirty Flamingo like that. Oh, I should have die cut out him first, right? It's okay. It's only paper. And we're going to put this guy on here. So both cards are A2 cards. It's just that I like to do a lot of vertical A2 cards. I just like the way they stand better. I like the way that they lay better. So we're going to go over here to the left and put down the measurement for the card base. Dot, 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 dot. Score at. Let's write down the measurements first. We're going to do 11 inches. The card is 11 inches by 4 1/4. We're going to score at 5 1/2. Now back over here, back at the ranch, we need this outer layer. Well, here, we'll do it over here. This is the outer layer of DSP. So DSP, Designer Series Paper. That is 5 1/4 times 4 inches. That's the ones I just cut. That's this piece. That's the raindrops. And then this little piece down here is basic white. Okay, so this is card base. All right, there you go. And now for the next technique. So now I have to get rid of this embossing tool. I'm just going to go ahead and unplug it. Excuse me for one moment while I do that. All right. I needed to do that so I can get to the die cutting machine and everything. So what we're going to be doing is a little technique called masking. There's a few ways to do it, but I just think this is a kind of an easy and sort of fun way to do it that you might not have thought of doing it before. Like you might not have thought of this. So you need your masking paper. What is masking paper? It's sticky paper. And don't be confused between masking paper and adhesive sheets. Okay, because you have both in your kit. The one that's a masking paper in your kit is 5 by 7. The one that's an adhesive sheet in your kit is 6 by 6, although it comes in a sheet of 6 by 12. It's a little off-white. So the adhesive sheet is double-sided adhesive. It has stickies on both sides, and it's great for die cutting, but we're not using that right now. We're using what's called the masking paper. The masking paper is only sticky on one side and not the other. And it's also like a regular paper as opposed to the other one that feels like wax paper. All right, so here's the sticky side. So what you want to do is you want to stamp like on the other side. So like we're going to be peeling this off. So we want to stamp on this side. This is the sticky side. That's the side you're going to be stamping on this side so that we make a little sticker. And we're going to stamp this shape is what we're going to do. So we're just going to go ahead and stamp right onto the masking paper. Now there's a few ways you could do it later, but you could cut it out, but I think it would just so much easier to die cut it. So much easier. I tried it like the other way too, and I thought, wow, that's a lot of extra work, but we'll just do it this way. So we're going to go ahead and stamp. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's only if we need to. We don't even need to do that. We're just going to go ahead and cut it out. But I'm going to show you both ways. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and cut out the shape, and then we'll also do it the other way too. Because I did it the first way, I was like, I figured out I don't even need to stamp it. Much easier. So what we're just going to do is we're going to cut out the shape and we'll cut out the shape and make a little sticker. And then in a minute, we'll also stamp on it, and I'll show you something else you could do with it. All right, so so basically we have a little sticker. The little sticker is the silhouette of the little stamp shape that we have on our paper. So basically we're on card 2 now. We've done card 1. We've completed card 1. If you just joined in, we're doing a new technique called masking using the masking paper. All right, so this is a sticker. Now, the mistake I made earlier was not using this on my T-shirt. I stuck it right onto the paper, and it ripped my paper. So here's my T-shirt. Watch this. Put it on your T-shirt, or maybe you don't wear T-shirts all day long like me. Maybe you wear something fancier, but you still have lint on your clothes. I don't care how fancy you are. We all have lint on our clothes. So you want to go like this and get some lint onto the masking paper. And you can even see the little bit of lint there. Now you want to go over and you want to cover up this little guy. So exactly not exactly, this has a little shadow because it's bigger. When you stamp, this die is bigger. So here, look. The die is a little bit bigger than the stamped image, right? Like so. See what I mean? So we're trying to put the die right over the stamped image, kind of over it, but it's going to be like a little bit of a shadow around it. But that's all cool. It's all cool. That's what we want, is that little shadow. I just thought it came out cute. Kind of was a happy accident. I tried it earlier. So, okay. But we're going to try it another way too. So let's do that. And then I want to show you another way to use the masking paper. So let's take the ink, and we're going to, I think I already inked up. Pretty sure I already inked this up. So let's go ahead and just stamp. All right. Okay. Now, just so I'm going to have to put the machine away. So the die cutting sandwich, just so you know, was plate 1, plate 2, and 2 plate 3s. That was the die cutting sandwich. I'm putting the die cutting machine away because the second technique of masking paper does not even need that machine. So what you're going to do for this one, we're not actually going to go all the way through with it, but I want to show you so that you guys get the big picture. The big picture. All right, so this is, we're going to go like this. So you're going to, bottom line is when you mask, I don't need to worry about the little top of the umbrella. Let's just do something like this just to kind of give you an idea. All right. All right, so here we go. This one was when we want to make this effect. Look at this. This is not a 3D item. Is that cool? This is just like a glow around this little guy. So for this one, I'm going to show you this technique first, and then I'll show you what you could do with this, like partial masking. All right, so let's take this guy, and we're going to take the raindrops, and we're going to do some, let's see, some balmy blue. We didn't really, I think I used a little gray granite as well. So I think I just started with the, yeah, I always start with the light color, you know, when I'm blending. So we're going to get some ink on there. This part's a review, right? Some ink on our brush. Kind of go out from the middle. And just kind of first give this little guy an outer glow that's a light color. An outer glow to the little fox or whatever critter that you're masking. Okay, now we're going to take, let's make a little bit of room here. I'm just going to get a little bit more ink here. That's not, all right, it's good. Let's see if I completely run out of balmy blue before I can find my re-inkers. To the point where I'm just like sticking the stamp pad right onto the paper. No, it'd be like sad to have to buy every re-inker all over again, because it took me a couple years to get my ink collection to be complete, totally complete. All right, good. I think I'll just put gray at the top, because I have so much more of the gray granite ink. Just like before, that's all we're doing. We're just blending a background. That's all we're doing. Oh yeah. And I'm just gonna put some gray on the bottom too, only because I have a lot of it, and I need to color my paper. Because when you color your paper, you're gonna get to see the masking technique. Even better when I color all around Mr. Fox. Okay, so now we're not revealing yet. We need to do our raindrops. Done with the gray granite for now. Get back the balmy blue and the raindrops. Okay, let's try it. And you want to always test your raindrops anyway, because you want to make sure, see, this is really light. There we go. It's a little better down this side. But you want to test your raindrops that they're going the right way and everything, you know, that you've. So now you're going to stamp this right over the top of the umbrella. See that? You're just like stamping, but the raindrops are not getting on Mr. Fox. They're all around Mr. Fox, but not. See, I can stamp right on it, but it's masked off, so that's what's pretty cool. Okay, I think I got enough of those. And of course, you can combine the two techniques you learned tonight, right? You can combine masking with emboss resisting as well. That's kind of fun. All right, ready for the reveal? Let's see if how much stuff is on my hands here. Wiping it on my shirt. Another good reason to wear a t-shirt when you craft. Now this is a reusable mask too, as long as it doesn't rip. It's reusable in that it's still sticky. Even though I got a lot of sticky off with my t-shirt, I use them about 3 times, these little masks, before I have to throw them out. And you can just stick them on the inside of your stamp case. So isn't that cool? We have the little cute shadow and everything, and it's all perfect. Now, I thought that would be cute even without coloring it, and I thought about not coloring it, but then I said, nah, I have coloring tools, so I'm going to color it. I mean, if you didn't have all the coloring blends or you didn't have time, it would be cute because it's like a, just stands out. But I think coloring it's even better. Dun dun dun! And that is your reveal. So that is your mask. And it's protected and you can reuse this. Stick it on the machine. I'm sticking on the machine is what I did. You can't see that. I just stuck it on the machine. All right. Let's see. Thank you. Be Pre likes the cards. I'm going to say hi to everybody as I'm coloring now. Hello, Be Pre and Anna and Deborah. Oh, Anna from Australia. Yep. Louise from Nevada. Deborah from Australia. Kathy from New Hampshire. All right. So what's your first one, Jean? You said this is your first one. Hi, Jean. What were you saying? Your first kit or your first bingo or your first? Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for talking. Lisa and Linda, Alberta, and Lynn and Charlene. Hello. And Melissa from Texas and Betty and Phil. Nice to see all of you. So you're talking about your first bingo, or what were you guys talking about? Your first something. Okay, I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo, dark Flirty Flamingo. What we're doing now is we're doing the umbrella. We're using the stamping blends. And when you use the stamping blends, they have a thin side and they do have a dark and a light in a pair, but they also have a thin side and a thick side. But because that umbrella is so big, you can just go ahead and use like the brush side because the umbrella is really big. Just be careful on the lines because the lines do smear, but we did give it some time to dry, so they shouldn't smear too much. And if you're worried about in right close to the black part, you can get the thin side to get in there, and it'll keep you from touching the black line as much. The thin side gives you much more precision. But I like to use like little circular motions to sort of blend the light and dark together. All right, so that was Flirty Flamingo. Why Flirty Flamingo? Because it's one of the coordinating colors. So light and dark, Flirty Flamingo. Now let's do light and dark, Mango Melody. Now I heard, there is no Mango Melody blends anymore, but you can use your markers. And maybe they'll come back in the next catalog. Can't wait to see what the new colors are in the new catalog. We're going to have 5 new ink colors for sure, but we're also going to have new colors that I know are returning colors, because in the Hello Irresistible kit, which I'm working on now, and if you don't have the Hello Irresistible kit, if you're not registered for that, you can register right now. It's in the description of this video, the link to the kit. That's next month's kit. And I am going to share some of my hoard of a couple retired colors, I'm saying. That was Mango Melody. Let's do Cajun Craze. We're going to do dark Cajun Craze and light Cajun Craze. So I'm just gonna sort of do a little bit on the face, and then the front of the face I want to be a little bit lighter than the dark of the face, the back of the face, I mean. So I'm doing dark Cajun Craze, thin side for now. It gives us more precision. And if you mess up, you can use what's called the color lifter. Anyway, that's what I'm working on now, and I'm gonna be sharing some little die cut pieces. I mean, things you're definitely, unless you have some retired colors that you know are coming back. I found them when I was cleaning out or when I was unpacking my she shed, and I was like, I'm going to put a couple little samples. I can't put much because I don't even have a whole pack of either. There's 2 colors that are in the Hello Irresistible Designer Series paper that are not in our catalog, and they are not released yet. And I am going to be giving you a couple of little samples of those colors that we can use for our projects. Oh, we need that for we need to do the ears too, and the dark Cajun craze for the ears. And always use the thin side when you're trying to do little tiny areas like that. Now for the face, I like to I have crumb cake. That's kind of what you're going to make to lighten this up with. And I like to let's see where I put the crumb cake. Okay, the color lifter is when you go outside the line, like over here. I colored outside the line. It takes a while to color lift. I mean, it might take like a few tries to get that color off. Anyway, I'm going to use, what I do is this is crumb cake. To make the face a little bit lighter, I blended a little crumb cake in there in the face. That's what I did before. And it seemed to work out. And then I'm using dark crumb cake on the tail. I've tried light crumb cake on the tail. And that works cute. And you can even leave the tail white at the tail if you want. And then to top it all off, Wink of Stella. That's the glitter pen. Or if you're not finished blending, keep on blending. But even this glitter sort of finishes, it helps like keep it all wet while it's blending. And then, of course, these look better when they dry. These little images. Wink of Stella just gives it that nice, look at the difference between no Wink of Stella and how cool that looks. And I'm not just doing it to the fur, I'm doing it to the whole critter. Because he has a raincoat on and it's raining, so why not make him look like he's a little wet? Now you could have of course die cut out any of the critters, and you could have just done a background and die cut him and make him 3D. But that was a really cool way of using the masking technique, I think. And then, it's just one idea for it. And then you could take, so for the other card, okay, let's go ahead and finish off this card there. Let's finish it by put it on there. Make sure it opens. Yep, opening the right way. And when you use the Stampin' blends, they do bleed through because I'm using the regular basic white, not the thick basic white. It doesn't really bleed through that as much. So if you're trying to do something where you want to make sure it doesn't show through, like some kind of party favor, and you're going to be blending, be sure to use the thick basic white if you don't want it to bleed through. These are after our alcohol markers, so when it dries, it looks a little bit different. All right, so we still have the sentiments and everything, but let's keep going. And put that for the second. Put that off for a second. So here's our other piece. And so what I was telling you is you didn't have to use that little glow on the outside. You could fuzzy cut right up to like the edge of something. I'm not doing the whole thing. This is just an idea. I want to show you the difference, right? So now I'm just kind of covering. What I'm just doing is lining that up with the umbrella. This one isn't as precise because I'm only doing the top. You get some balmy blue. I know I didn't put it far. Oh, there it is. It's over there. I was like, where'd it go? It's over here. Kind of was like, couldn't have gone far. Okay, let's get rid of all these markers. Oh, and you can put your masking, if you save the back of this, you can put the piece you've used right back on there too for your masking sheet. So you get a pack, the masking paper comes in 5x7 sheets, and it looks like this. Stampin' Up! Masking paper. That's why I put it in every kit because I use so much of it that I just thought it'd be good to give you guys a lot of it too. So that you can use it. I mean, I give you like a whole sheet, but that's in the next one. We'll use it. We're going to do some watercoloring in the next workshop. So I give you like a half a sheet of masking paper, but I usually give you a whole sheet so you can play around with it. Next time I'm giving you, in this next month, April kit, you're going to get a whole sheet of watercolor paper. So you're going to get to play around with different kinds of papers and see how they absorb ink in different ways and use different inks and all that stuff. All right, so you can use the masking paper and cut around something directly. Or heck, I mean, use your ScanNCut, but then don't put an outline distance if you don't want to cut around something totally directly. I just want to show you the difference between that and having a little outer glow. Oh, let's go ahead and put a little gray granite. Since we're here, we might as well put the gray granite around the top of the sky a little bit, right? Because I already have it. I already have my blending brushes out. I'm already working out here on this stuff. There we go. I don't, you know what? If I'm gonna go this far, I may as well. Gotta put some rain on there. Okay, let me put a little bit of rain up to the corner and that corner. Yeah, I'm happy with it. Maybe over there. All right. We'll put some right on top of there too. Okay, so now I'm just showing you the difference between when you go right next to something. Oh, I forgot to put the lint. I forgot to use the. I hope this doesn't rip like when I did it earlier. Take it off really carefully, or put some lint on your clothes so it comes off. It doesn't stick to your paper. It's really strong. Or I have my heat tool. I could have used my heat tool to melt it to come off if it starts ripping my paper. But it didn't rip my paper. Yay! So you can see why I don't color first, because I don't color first because what if I rip my paper? You don't want to color first. But that's when you're going to use your masking paper exactly on the edge without the glow. Of course, I didn't line it up exactly, but you get the idea. As opposed to like having an outer glow around the whole thing because I die cut out that whole piece. In this case, I cut out this whole piece and it gave us an outer glow. And in this case, I used scissors and I went straight up and cut out straight along this. So I hope that makes sense. So that's how you can mask any part of your image just by then putting it right over the top and doing your coloring. And of course, that one could use a little bit. I have to move it a little bit over because I do have a little bit of a glow, but it doesn't matter. If you want to glow or you don't want to glow, it's just showing you two different ways. Yep, I like that. I'm going to still use it. I'm probably going to use my other mask on this guy and see how it comes out. All right, let's finish off the cards with some sentiments and we're done. We're going to get out, let's see, Cajun Craze and Memento Black ink for the sentiments. We'll do, actually, we might have some. We might not need to do this again. Let's look in our bucket of crafty goodness. Why reinvent the wheel, right? We already have a lot of stuff already that we've been cutting out. So I think I already have everything we need to finish this card off. So just grabbing some dimensionals. All right, we have an Oh Happy Day. That would work. We have an Oh Happy Day that's a really nice one. That's Old Olive, though. I didn't use Old Olive in this little thing. Oh, and I even cut out some little flowers, too. What I did is I just used the Designer Series paper and I used a scallop circle and cut out some extra little flowers and things. So this is for my bucket of crafty goodness. Let's see what I have here. I think I'm going to use this one. Or no, we'll use the oval. There you go. And then I have extra little banners and stuff. We'll see how that will work behind it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking it. We'll do that. Just die cut some shapes and see what happens, is right? Oops. Always have a bunch of extra shapes that you can use for your projects. Oh, happy day. And then I'm going to keep that little guy down there. My new little flower I cut out. I like how he came out. So it's like a little oasis in the desert. You got like rain going on and you get this little flowers down the bottom, kind of like a little happy, makes it happy down there. All right, cool. So that's what we're going to do with that card. And then, of course, a few little bling. I can add my little bling like I did for this card, right? We just added some little bling. Those little flowers have been out of stock for so long, but I bought them way back when and was able to give them to you in your kit. That was the other card. And let's see where the fourth one is. I'm trying to look for the one we made earlier. Here it is. So we can just put a critter on it. Finish off this card. This was our Emboss Resist card. Let's see what critters we have. Oh, there's a little fox already. He's already, but I think we need a bunny. A dancing bunny, because we already done so much with the fox. We'll do a dancing bunny with a dancing umbrella here. Little umbrella. No, I think he needs the other kind of umbrella because the umbrella has to sort of point down. And that would look cute too. Okay, let's see. That's good. Maybe this little tiny umbrellas. Not the big ones, all right. Oh. I'm looking for it. Here we go. I found one. We needed a little umbrella like that, I think. Okay, and okay, with this one will look good with the old olive because his shirt is old olive. So we'll do something like that. All right, maybe at the bottom, because I like the Emboss Resist rain, so we don't want to cover up that really cool rain we did. Maybe something like that, and something like that. All right, so there we go. So you always just lay out your card and then just start assembling it. And we'll put some, you can see I'm reusing a lot of these little edges of my dimensionals. Not reusing, just using. Reusing would be using them again. I'm just using the edges of them because they're just fine to use as well. So we'll put the bunny there first. The ears, we don't want to get caught up in the envelope, so we just put those, a couple little mini dimensionals on the ear and that little part. Get it so it's not sticking out. Oh, by the way, this little bunny, if you're wondering, wow, how'd she color her bunny so nice? I didn't color that bunny. That bunny's right from the designer series paper. We don't need to cut it out again because we've already done that in this series. So cut out some shapes from your designer series paper and stock up on this paper because it's going to go away and you're going to be like, man, I could have had all these really cute critters for like instant cards. You see how quick I make a card? I don't care that it came out of the paper. I didn't color it. Why would I want to do extra work? Right? Don't do extra work. There's already a cute little critter and it matches everything you've done. Oh, happy day. So you've already have it. It matches. Let's use it. But that's the way we colored it the other day, too. We colored it with the flirty flamingo on the face and things. I'm just trying to center him a little bit. I probably could have moved the bunny up a little bit. Or actually, I could have touched him down. I probably would have normally overlapped him on the circle, but I've already put the sentiment there. So there we go. That's how you make all 4 cards. And I will now show you what we've done in the rest of the series as soon as I make sure that I'm not going to get ink all over myself. Let's see. All right, good. Good. Everything's clear. Clear in the deck. Hello, Ermina from Poland. Nice to see you. Okay, yes, Alberta says the fox looks like a gentleman, and Anna thinks he's cute too, and Deborah loves it. Deborah's saying thumbs up, thank you. Hey, my niece is here. Hello, Belen. Nice to see you. My niece loves to craft when she visits. I can't wait for you to visit again, Belen, and you can be on my YouTube video with me. Hello, Dawn from Washington. Hello. Oh, yeah, Jean, it's your first bingo is what you're saying? All right, so what we did tonight, in case you just came in, we learned the Emboss Resist technique. And the bunnies on each of these cards are right from the designer series paper. You just cut it out with the die. The die does not cut out the puddle. To cut out the puddle, you need to do your ScanNCut. So I'll show you what that looks like too. So there's the Emboss Resist technique where we did clear embossing powder. And then the ink stuck to the part where it's not embossed. The other technique you learned is masking, using the masking paper where we die cut out the fox. And then we just colored the background. And the fox is not colored. It was protected by using the mask. Okay, so those are the 4 cards we made. Or I made 2 and then you made 2. And now I'll show you what we made in this series. my bucket of crafty goodness here. Oh, where'd that come from? That's a little hitchhiker. All right, we have in one of the parts of this series, I think it was part 3, we made these cute little boxes for your foxes. Okay, I'll show you what's in the boxes for your foxes. And we have, so there's a little, I showed you how to emboss the backgrounds. You can emboss the top. We used Old Olive for the bottom. There's some Skittles in there and some chocolate bunnies. Okay, there's this one where you can use the designer series paper for the top of your lid. On the box with fox. Okay, Skittles and mini Ghirardelli chocolates. Thank you, Midge. I'm glad you love the cards. Cool. And then this other one we used just the embossing, or not embossing, the vellum piece of vellum. Skittles in there. That's the vellum layering pieces that you have in your kit. And then this little piggy. And there's, oh, that's still more Skittles. I guess you could fit everything. And that was a Flirty Flamingo box. All right, so that was part 3. I showed you how to make boxes and lids, and you used the Old Olive as your background. All right, what else did we do? We did part 4. This is part 5, by the way. So this was in part 4, we made note cards. We made a couple of note cards using your craft note cards and envelopes. I gave you the measurements for your note cards. We used the blends to color the clouds. And we just did some nice layering. And we used your little gold swirls that are in your kit. And different sentiments. There's only 2 sentiments. So you're going to see the same sentiments used over and over. Okay, also in part 1, 2, 3, 4. In part 4, we made this Oh Happy Day turtle cards, which were a lot of fun. So that was part 4. And then part 3, oh no, whatever, that might have been, part 3 was the boxes. Part 2, or it could have been part 1. No, part 2, I think we made these turtle cards with the little bridge or fence. We used a lot of the texture paper and stuff. We used the texture shimmer paper. We embossed the little logs, colored the clouds. In part 1, we also used the texture shimmer paper and the vellum again. So we've done lots of layering in this series. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Luis. These were just some that I showed you how to use the ScanNCut to get some critters from. And then you have, oh, here's one of my swaps. This is a nice way of using layering on the layering circles, and I like how she put vellum in it. This is from Patsy Jones, one of my team swaps. Yeah, oh yeah, ScanNCut. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Deborah. That's exactly what I wanted to say about this card. This card here, I use the ScanNCut because your die, the metal die that's part of your die set, only cuts out the bunny down to here. So if you want the puddle cut out, like on these cards, you know, use your ScanNCut to cut out the puddle. And now I'm going to show you the cards I made, which are from this Sunshine and Smiles paper pumpkin kit that coordinates with this suite. Okay, let's put these, let me just do this for a second. Let's put these away. Just so I don't mix them all up. We have one more part of the series as well, so we're not concluded yet. Maybe even 2. But the March is not over. March is not over. This is all March, but I just still like to show you. I like each video to be standalone so that you can use it each video. And I'll also show what we're making bingo. Okay, so these are what we made with the Rain or Sunshine and Smiles paper pumpkin kit, which coordinates with this. So you can use the stamps from that kit along with this suite, and you have a lot of options that way. So if you're noticing sentiments you don't recognize, it's because they're from the paper pumpkin kit. But it's perfect, right? It goes perfect with this other, it coordinates. And I used a piece, there's a piece of the Rain or Shine Designer Series paper. Okay, so there's a shaker card. And I like to take the pieces from the paper pumpkin kits and use elements from them and then use my own cardstock and things to jazz them up. So this one's embossed. It's the Designer Series paper and it's embossed. So you can really see the 3D going on there with the raindrops. Raindrops keep falling on my head. I did a video as well recently on how to use embossing folders and different techniques to use embossing folders. This one I showed right in the tutorial for the paper pumpkin. When I went over the paper pumpkin projects, I showed how to emboss it and how to get that wet effect with the baby wipe. Okay, so lots of options for that kit and how they go along with this. Okay, and lastly, little sneak peek of what we're doing this Friday in bingo. Too late to sign up for bingo, but that some of you that are here are going to be going to my virtual bingo on Zoom. We're going to be making this card. And I did a video in my VIP group on how to cut all the parts out for the card that you're going to need. So I showed you how to do that. Linda is making this card for us. And there's all the pieces cut out, what you need. So go into the VIP group and cut out all the pieces. And we're also making this card in bingo. And there's the pieces you're going to need. And you have this piece in your kit and this piece. I punched out elegant tag punch and did a die cut for you with this piece of mango melody. So you can just gather those pieces you need and cut the coordinates, cut the sizes you need. And when all my bingo cards are done, I'm going to make Linda's along with her, and then I'll show you those by the end of the month. So that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and learned some techniques. Have a great night. If you want to sign up for next month's kit, be sure to do so using the link in the description. If you're not sure about getting notified for kits and things, be sure to go ahead and put your name on my mailing list for the newsletter, because I'm going to be asking you who wants a catalog, and I'm doing that via my newsletter. It's not a free-for-all. Sending out catalogs is an expensive endeavor, so I'm going to be asking you to request that you want a catalog before I spend all the money on the postage for the catalog. So please get on my newsletter so you get that catalog request, because new catalogs are being mailed out next month already. Can you believe it? Already, because the catalog's going live in May. That's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. Have a great day.